Good morning, everybody. Stu Smith here going live. It is a snow day here on the East Coast. Hope you are doing okay. If you don't have power, I hope you find it soon because it is cold out there. Um, well, plans changed today. We were planning on getting a workout done first thing in the morning, but ice is everywhere, and we're actually going to try to head out at noon today and see what it looks like. Maybe walking over to our training area and shovel it out and maybe have some workouts by tomorrow. But right now, our pool's closed, roads are closed pretty much. Definitely can't even get out of my neighborhood, even with my four-wheel drive, that icy. So that's where we are right now, and kind of feel like that little penguin that we've been blowing up the internet watching this weekend. Has it been affecting your algorithm? I don't know. That's all I've been seeing is this penguin walking. Um, uh, but let's talk about it a little bit. Where are you on that spectrum? Because I think it kind of touched a lot of people's psyche a little bit when they see it. Because one, you feel bad for this little penguin leaving his herd, but then why is he leaving it? That's the big question. Why? But why? Why is he leaving the safety of the colony and food sources, and he's going towards certain death? I'm not a penguin expert, nor am I a doctor or a psychologist to understand why he would do this, but maybe it's something a little more noble, even. Maybe he's sick and doesn't want to get the rest of the colony sick. Maybe that's just what you do when you're got a contagious disease. I don't know. So it could be that. It could be say him just saying, F it, I'm out of here. I'm sick of this colony and eating fish. I'm ready to end it all. I don't know. Um, but somehow it resonated with us a multiple different ways, and I find that kind of fascinating. Um, I like to think he's just ill and physically ill and doing a noble deed, getting away from the colony. Now, I could be mentally disturbed and completely disoriented and doing the same thing. I don't know, but I think it kind of resonates with it. Where are you on that spectrum? Are you on the spectrum of F it, I'm out of here, or um, is this somewhere between I'm doing my own thing? I just want to go do my own thing, or F it, I'm sick of societal expectations. I think it's somewhere in there is why it resonated with us. Because I'd be honest with you, I kind of find my own journey similar. Because when I was a young kid, I just wanted to go into the military when I was younger. I knew that was going to be my first job, and nobody around me wanted to do that. Everybody was going to go to college and be a dentist or a doctor or lawyer or stay at home and do manual labor jobs, whatever they wanted to do, not go to college. Um, and that's fine too. Um, but, I just remember being one of the few people in my class um, who decided to serve. There were a few, but it is a handful. Majority did not do that. And then, when you decide you want to go into special operations, that's kind of like one of those things. Back in the 80s, it wasn't necessarily the best career move if you wanted to stay in for 30 plus years, make admiral type of thing. Um, so, that was a kind of I'm doing my own thing type of thing. I'm interested in this. I want to do this. And then you start forming your why you want to do this. And I think that's where I think whenever it says but why is he doing this? We know. We know why. Because we're going to do your own thing. When I got out of the Navy and I wanted to go into coaching and start my own business, that was against the grain. Everybody said, "Oh, you should go to business school, go to corporate." That did not interest me a bit, but that's what society and my own family was telling me, parents and aunts and uncles and things, you know, I want to do my own thing. So regardless, where this video and meme captured our imaginations, it hit us somewhere on that spectrum. Where are you on this spectrum? Are you on the I'm doing my own thing, whether you like it or not, society? Or are you like, screw it, I'm sick of this society, I'm out of here? Where do you think it is? Or am I missing something? Is there another interpretation? Where did you feel it hit you? I'm fine to discuss this nihilist penguin for the hour, but I'm also fine to take fitness related questions because I know I work out and write about it and talk about tactical fitness. And if you're here for that, ask your tactical fitness question. I'm happy to change subjects and go into that as well because that's what I do. I like to also stay in my lane, though every now and then I get intrigued by something that captures our hearts and minds as this little penguin did. So there I am. Where are you? And we can take some questions on this snow day. Let me see. I don't have any comments over here on YouTube. People are watching, but no questions. Ask questions if you like. Feel free. I know you're home from school, so send them. I'm here for the next, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, depending on the questions. Let's see. So I get so gassed while swimming, and I've been doing the 50-50. I feel stuck. Well, I would say this. It takes a little bit of time to get in swimming shape. And I've written a great article for you. It's titled, Dude, You Are Not in Swimming Shape. And if you read this article, you'll start to see some of the things that I notice people commenting on, and I basically just say, you're not in swimming shape. For instance, comment 1. After 50 yards, I can barely breathe and I lose my technique. My answer is, dude, you're not in swimming shape. Could be a technique issue too. Do the 50-50. I seem to get winded after the kick off the wall, can't do the double arm pull, breaststroke pull out after a couple of 100 yards. Once again, dude, you're not in swimming shape. Or just take out the breaststroke pull out altogether is another option. Comment 3, I have my pace down like a 50-second 50, but lose it halfway through the swim. I drop to 60 seconds per 50 instead of 50 seconds per lap. Once again, dude, you're not in swimming shape. How do I get my kick stronger? Comment number 4, or question number 4. Dude, no, just kidding. Try a swim workout with fins on leg day. So a good way to practice some of these skills. In fact, I'll put that article in the comment section here if you haven't seen it. Dude, you're not in swimming shape article. Put it over here. Or you just go, oh, that's not it. What the hell happened here? Didn't come out right. Let me delete that. All right, so dude, you're not in swimming shape article is right here. Or you could just Google, dude, you're not in swimming shape. And basically it's going to show you, do the 50-50. You need to be patient. I know you're doing the 50-50, but it's not like in a week you're going to get better at the 50-50. It's going to take you a month of suck, 4 to 5 days a week. So put it this way. If you've done the 50-50 over 30 times and you're still feeling stuck, it may be a technique issue that's your problem. All right, because usually if I can get everybody's technique down to like swimming that 50-second 50 and then get them on the 50-50 workout, 50 meters free followed by 50 meters CSS, minimal rest. Do that 10 times. warm up or cool down with the 500. That's the workout. 1,500 yards. That's it. You do that 4 to 5 times a week for a month. I've seen people go from 10 minutes to 8 minutes in a month. It can happen. But you gotta put in the time. That's the only way to do it. And if it's not working for you, it could be a technique issue. Or it could be a strategy issue. It could be kicking your butt off, in between these and just getting tired, wasting energy. How should I fuel the day before and the morning of a physical test? Same way you always do. Same way you do for any other workout. So, for instance, this morning, I didn't do a normal workout, but I shoveled snow. I walked around the little neighborhood, about a 2 mile perimeter, to see what the main roads are like, and did some mobility work. Not a hard workout. So I didn't eat much, right? In fact, I ate eggs afterwards and some beef and a couple of bananas. So got my carbs, got my protein, ready to go. I would have done the same thing if I had a PST, but I would have just eaten those carbs first. So if I was doing a real workout where I'm going to be putting out, I would have banana, apple, something that I normally do anyway. One of the worst things you can do is ask that question, and then I say something completely different from what you normally do to fuel yourself. Then you go do it, and now you got diarrhea in the middle of the swim or the run or throwing up. So don't do anything new the day of the test. Day before the test, eat normal. Carb up. Get some carbs. I'm telling you, carbs is going to be your energy source in that back half of that PST. Good carbs, not just Twinkies. What sort of workout would you recommend for someone over 60? Well, you know what? I just turned 57 the other day, and the answer is it depends, because I'm still doing workouts like I was 30. Calisthenics, weights, swimming, running, put on a weight vest and walk. So bike, so I do a lot of mobility work. So I would say first, make sure you're getting some mobility work in, because that's life changing. And if you need something for over 60, I got something for you. I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but it is, what the heck? I can't believe I don't have my ageless athlete workout here. Oh, I do. Boom. Ageless athlete. Fitness over 50. That means 62. Get that. And that is a great way to go, because it answers multiple questions. It answers the fact that maybe you're a beginner, haven't worked out in a couple of decades. I have a section there for you. Maybe you do something, but not a whole lot. I got an intermediate section in there. Then I have an advanced section that is actually my workout that I do every day. Well, not every, it's like a 6-week workout plan that I do over 6 weeks. And it's actually what I did that year that I wrote this. And I wrote this when I was 56 years old. So it's legit. It works really well. And then there's a mobility day in there that is life changing. If you don't do mobility day, my first recommendation is add a mobility day. It's incredible. Is CrossFit good for Spec Ops? It's not bad for Spec Ops. I don't have a problem with CrossFit. I just don't do it. I mean, I'll do a Murph workout often. I like high intensity circuits just like everybody else, but I just don't do CrossFit workouts. I tend to be a little more on different cycles versus random. But if you're curious what I think, CrossFit Special Ops. In fact, what I want you to do is CrossFit good for Spec Ops, and then put Stu Smith after it, CrossFit Special Ops Stu Smith. Put that in the Google machine, and this article pops out. And it says, does CrossFit have a place in special ops training? Wow. Amazing. I've already written an article about it. Read that. I just put it in the comment section over there. Craig just says, ageless athlete workout is legit. Shoulder routine for me is great. Yes. I've been doing that shoulder routine for 28 years. And the reason why I know that is that's my daughter's name. And I separated my shoulder playing, I was stupid. A week before she was born, I was playing like snow tackle football. A lot of fun, but I landed on my shoulder and it stuck and I kept going and separated my shoulder. So I needed a physical therapy and I learned that routine through physical therapy. I've been doing it ever since. So it's the lightweight shoulder workout. You can Google it. Lightweight shoulder workout, Stu Smith. You'll see it. It's up there for free, but I just place it into a workout as, you know, as part of the choreography of that day. But yeah, Gabo, read that article. It'll answer your question. Do you think 80 miles a week is good tension before buds? I've never run 80 miles a week. I think 80 miles a week for buds is not smart because you're missing out on. I mean, if you cut it in half, that's plenty. Plus, now, I mean, figure if you're running 40 miles extra, and let's say just on average, you're doing it at 8-minute mile on average. So 40 times 8, that's 320, right? So that's an extra, what's that? 6, 5, 5, almost 6 hours of training that you could actually work on something else. If you're capable of running 80 miles a week, you're probably a really good runner. How about working on something else that's going to be crushing? Like maybe a log or a boat, could do some strength training and get durable. Do some swimming. If you suck at swimming, swim. Do some upper body work because most runners got no chest, no shoulders. Come on, man. 80 miles a week? That's ridiculous. I'm going to enter college this year. I'm wondering whether I should go enlisted or officer for Navy SEALs. I don't think I want to study. I'm just going to do it. My parents are satisfied. Well, that's up to you. I have plenty of folks that decide to enlist and after college, and they decide to go officer after college. It's up to you. My personal recommendation is this. Don't go at 18. Statistically speaking, it is a bad decision. And I know there are many people who you may know out there that went to buds at 18 years old and still did fine. But those are rare individuals, very rare individuals. If you see 5 people who graduated buds at 18, I guarantee you there's 100 people that you didn't see make it that were 18, teenage, and didn't make it. So for every 5 buds graduates you see that's 18, there's about 100 that didn't make it. 95 to 100 didn't make it. So just whatever you do, I don't care if you go to college or not. I think you need more time to train and grow and mature. If you want to go to buds, think of it that way. You're getting 4 years. All right, think of it this way. You're getting 4 years. Yeah, college sucks. Studying's not fun. I mean, I did it too. It's part of what you got to go through. But right around the corner, I had a great gym. I had a great pool and places to train and people to train with. And that was awesome. Right. And I took 4 years to train in college to become a really good candidate. And I finished growing got over shin splints and all that tends to happen to young shins when you're still growing. So be patient. No need to go at 18 years old. Let's see. Did I answer all these? Hey, Stu, I'm 26, trying to get a SO contract. Would you recommend joining the Navy once I pass the PST, or should I wait a little longer to prepare for FUDs? What do you think? I mean, you kind of answered that question there. Um, here's the thing. Here's the question. I'll post it over here, and you guys can read it. Um, here's the thing. Yeah, you don't want to talk to a recruiter until you're crushing that PST, and here's why. Because you're on their timeline when you go start talking to them. You got to go through these hoops to go through medical. You got to go through, MEPS. You got to go take some ASVAB tests. You got to do all these little things that put you on their timeline. And then you got to take a PST. If you don't pass it, now you have to pass it in a certain period of time. And that may be a ship date in a few months. I don't know. Maybe a ship date in 6 months. Don't know. It's not your choice necessarily. Now you can work it if you're smart and just say, "Hey, I got still in school, like I got to finish college or junior college, and I can't ship out until, um, December. Like it's January now, I can't ship out till December." That's probably a pretty good amount of time to prepare for both getting to and through buds. But if you go there crushing that PST on day one, whenever you take it, they take you seriously from day one, right? And they try to get you out of there. But if you have commitments until the end of the year, then that's okay too. You can spend the rest of that year in delayed entry program taking a monthly PST and crushing stuff that you're going to see at buds that if you don't prepare for will crush you. Period. So many people do that. So many people rush to go join buds just because they can. They're 18 years old and pass a PST, but they can't pass anything else. They can't pass 4-mile swim or 4-mile runs and 2-mile ocean swims and any of the pool skills and treading and drown proofing and all that stuff. And they're still growing, because they're young and, I don't know. I talk about this all the time. And unfortunately, there's still 100 people at buds right now that are 18 years old, at least in prep. And probably 95 of them will be gone by Hell Week. I do gym 2 times, 3-time CrossFit, run 4 to 5, preparing for special unit in Croatia. Hey, I think that's great. Go for it. More of a mobility question, but have been working through quad hip flexor strain. Do you believe the internal external tightness is influencing the hip flexor? It could. The hip and shoulder are two unique joints that are so versatile that because of that versatility, they're susceptible to injuries, and it can go up, down, left, right in a circle. You name it, that joint is just built differently. So it takes a lot to stabilize it. It takes front, back, top, bottom, middle, you name it, to make it more stable. So yes, it needs to have two things. It need to have some strength around all the muscles around that joint, as well as mobility in that joint in different ranges of motion and different planes of movement. Then you have healthy hips. I can't even finish 500 meters for the PST. Then you definitely don't need to be talking to a recruiter. But keep swimming. That's okay. We all started this journey. We all started this journey unable to finish a 500-yard swim. unless you grew up swimming. But then that person probably had a harder time running or doing upper body strength. I could run well, not fast. I could run well and I could do a lot of upper body strength. That was never my issue. Swimming was an issue and running longer distance was my issue. And let me tell you, it took a long time to finish a 500-meter swim and finish a mile-and-a-half run and not, you know, over 10:30, right? It took me a while to learn how to run a 6-minute mile or sub-6 mile. It took me a while to swim a yard per second. Be patient. It'll happen. Just got to keep doing it. Stay consistent. Also, when it comes to a 12-mile ruck, how much do you think loose hips, general mobility contributes to a solid ruck time? Good question. Because it goes either way. I mean, I've seen people who have tight hips, don't stretch at all, very fast runners and very fast ruckers. Mobility has its place in there. I tend to use mobility as a function of pain relief versus hypermobility to see how far I can move my joints. Because if you try to go too far on that range of motion, you could lose some stability and even some durability in that. Now, you're probably less susceptible to sprains and things like that because of tight muscles and tendons around that joint, but it plays a part. I just think general mobility, the definition is more of, yes, loose hips, but not super loose, right? You're not like doing the splits and showing off doing that, right? You need a little bit of stability in there whenever you're loading those hips and back. Does that make sense, Jimmy? All right, another question. For the squat, half pyramid, body weight on barbell or air squats? No, if it's at the very top of a workout, like our leg days start off with a half pyramid, 1 to 10, right? Like almost every day, right? Like right here, right? You see a little half pyramid. Squat, run, half pyramid, 1 to 10. Stop at 10. Warm up with 100-meter runs in between. So here's how it looks. You do one squat. It's an air squat. Jog 100 yards, mix in some dynamic stretches, butt kickers, Frankenstein walks, whatever. It's a warm up. Don't throw weight on your back in a warm up, right? Even if you're going to lift weights, this is a just calisthenic warm up. It takes about 5-10 minutes. Don't make it take longer than that. Right? This way you get about 55 squats with a 1 to 10 half pyramid, 1,000 yards of running or 500 yards of running, depending on how short you run in between sets. And just let it warm you up. Trying to just break a little sweat and get warmed up to go do other stuff. Don't start throwing weight on a barbell or even a weight vest or dumbbells or kettlebells. No need for it yet. This is a warm up. This is like I just woke up out of bed, drive to where I'm going to go work out. This is my warm up I'm going to do. If it's at the top of that column for the day, it is a warm up. Don't add weight. Don't have a bench press a few days from the snowstorm on the winter lift cycle. Kind of replace bench press with max weight vest push-ups. Absolutely. Great idea. Or dips. Amateur boxer here. Already have 3 boxing sessions per week and can add only 3 more sessions, upper cardio, lower cardio, and 1 full body cardio day. How can I adapt your 6-day tactical periodization? Well, I mean, you're just not going to be able to do the whole week in a week if you're doing that much. My advice would be this. If you really wanted to add something to your week, then after your boxing session, do a little bit of cool down cardio, right? Maybe make it more of a technique thing. If you're trying to learn how to swim, Use that as a technique for swimming. It's a great cool down exercise. Focus on technique, do some treading, do some aqua jogging, loosen things up. It's a good way to practice technique and a little bit of more conditioning as a cool down to your boxing sessions. Now, eventually, I'm not sure what you're trying to do. I mean, if you're trying to go to buds or do something in the spec ops world, you might want to lay off the boxing and actually prepare full time for what you're doing. But if you're just a boxer and you want to continue boxing, which is awesome, and you want to add some supplemental workouts to it, then don't worry about 6 days of training that I have set up in these programs. Just do 3 of them. Pick your 3 that you want to do in between your boxing sessions and take 2 weeks to finish a week of the training. So maybe do days 1, 2, 3 on your days 2, 4, 6, and then do days 4, 5, 6 in my program on your next week's 2, 4, 6. If you're boxing 1, 3, 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Does that make sense? Hey, Stu, completed hell day yesterday and noticed later in the day in the pool I was cramping pretty bad. It affected my performance a lot. Is this a nutrition thing? Yes, absolutely. It's a nutrition thing. And you can look at, I mean, here's what I do. When I cramp, I look at what I've been doing the last 24 hours. What did I eat? What did I drink? What have I been supplementing? All right. Are you taking in electrolytes? Because that will help you with cramping, especially if you're crushing a 24-hour event. You need electrolytes and water. But if you're been supplementing creatine for weeks, that could be a factor too, especially in those type of events when you start dehydrating. So look at it like that. You prevent it by adding more electrolytes and water, most likely, and then depending on what that 24 hours prior looks like, you might want to adjust that. How many trials you got? In Greece, you get 2 chances. I'm asking because you got a lot of joining as 18, and it's not bad if you get some experience. Yeah, I mean, people can go to buds more than once. A lot of 18-year-olders don't make it and then come back at 20, which could have saved them some really crappy experiences of not being in a spec war program. But, you learn and you come back stronger and you realize, okay, I don't want to come back here now. So I'd rather work a little harder next time and not make a dumb decision and decide to quit, or maybe be a little better prepared. Elias says, what are your key strategies to not getting sick while going through selection? I hear the horror stories about pneumonia, rhabdo. Well, rhabdo's different. Rhabdo's just overdoing it. Being in the best shape you can be can help you avoid rhabdo, but there's some things that can cause rhabdo, that are a little bit out of your control. Becoming a heat casualty, so not drinking enough water, not having electrolytes, those things can definitely be a factor. Heat casualty, can add to it, almost creates this snowball effect. Getting SIPE, like swimmer-induced pulmonary edema, when you have too much water in your lungs and now you're coughing up blood and things like that, that can add to a heat casualty because you can't cool yourself down, can add to rhabdo. It's like this vicious snowball. But as far as getting sick and pneumonia, that's a tough one. I mean, you just gotta, I've always told people this, whether it was COVID or long before COVID, just whenever you are around a whole bunch of people all the time, wash your hands constantly. I mean, treat it like every time you leave a room and go into something, have something to clean your hands with. I know it sounds annoying, but Then don't touch your face. When you got dirty hands, don't poke your eye and pick your nose and put your fingers in your mouth. That's a real quick way to getting sick. Another way is at the end of the day, gargle with hot or warm salt water. Like gargle, spit it out. That can help get some of the infection that got into your mouth and throat area, and you can get it out too. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but a lot of times it's just luck, be honest with you. I finally figured out a timeline that's realistic for me to go to Buds. Summer next year, I'll be 27. I'm a little nervous because I'll be older. I've seen many 27-year-olders make it through. I wouldn't be, I mean, it's smart to be nervous. I mean, but even if you're 18, you should be nervous. It's okay. It's natural. But 27 is a good age. Not the usual Stu Smith live topic. I know. Every now and then I throw a curveball at you guys, but I think many of us can relate to the penguin walking away from our friends, family, everyday reality to chase something that's nearly unrealistic. I would agree with you. I think I've been there for sure. Yeah. It's unrealistic to people who don't understand it. Like I would turn back and say it's not an unrealistic thing. It's not impossible. In fact, I just wrote an article this week. Did you guys see that article? In fact, I'll share it with you guys. It's up on Stu Smith Fitness. Disregard the public service announcement about shoveling snow when you're old. Why do most people think Spec Ops selections are impossible? Check out this article. It's a pretty good one. It might set things in line with you a little bit and make you realize it's not impossible. Even before we ship out, we're dedicating so much time, focus, energy on training for selection, which can feel isolating at times. Absolutely, especially when you're doing it on your own. But that's life we chose, work hard for, stay strong, bros. I like that, man. Good job, JSA. Stu, how did it feel stepping away from your friends and family to go to Buds? Also, your time in the teams. Well, I will say this: I was very lucky because I went to the Naval Academy, um, and I had teammates on my rugby team that all wanted to go to Buds. There was 4 of us that went to Buds together. Um, when I left high school, that was a big change because I just left, right? And left my hometown, left friends, a girlfriend that didn't last very long after I got there. Um, so it was hard. It wasn't fun at all. I missed all of them. Missed my family as well. But my family were very supportive. They were very supportive of me going to the Naval Academy. And then, a couple of years into it, I made a decision to go to Buds. But then I had plenty of people to train with and mentors and stuff like that. So it was very helpful, my method to going. Not everybody has that support when they go. And when they go to Buds, they don't know anybody. I knew probably 20 other dudes. Well, maybe even more because we all went to mini Buds a year before. So we had a bunch of ROTC and OCS. Well, I didn't know OCS guys, but I knew the ROTC guys. So I probably knew at least 30 people in 2 Buds classes. So there was always a familiar face. So in my journey, it wasn't as difficult as some of the others that show up there and don't know anybody. I'm 20 now. Henry says, what's a good realistic time for me to get ready for selection? I'm still in college for another 2 years. I think that's plenty of time. 2 years in college, great time to train. Like I said, I was a sophomore in college when I decided I wanted to try to start getting in shape for Buds. And it took me every bit of those 2 years to do it. Boxer here. I'm already in spec police team. Want to do yearly periodization to improve all round fitness. If I do 1 week in 2, your whole training year turns out 2 years then? No, you're just going to get 6 weeks of that cycle versus 12 weeks of that cycle. Does that make sense? But for you, 6 weeks is 12 weeks. So you just move on to the spring cycle when it's springtime. Right now, we're in a winter lift cycle, and you're going to do that, winter lift cycle for the same length of all of us. It's just you're not going to get through the entire thing. I mean, if you wanted to, yeah, you could make it last 2 years. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've been doing this seasonal tactical periodization since I was 30. So this is my 27th year doing it. So when you say your whole training year turns out to be 2 years, then yeah, so it does. Big deal. I've been doing this forever. How long of weightlifting experience would you recommend before shipping to complete buds as a person who isn't very consistent in weight training? Well, I would say, you're young, you're probably going to see some results pretty quickly. So, my advice is at least do one winter lift cycle and see where you are. I've seen a lot of guys put on 10, 15 pounds of mass in that winter lift cycle. You don't know what that looks like. This one specifically is really good for that. And it helps you maintain your PST, IFT for you Air Force guys. So yeah, get on that winter lift cycle, see what happens. And then see where your numbers are. If your numbers meet up to all of those assessment numbers that I recommend, in fact, you guys can check out this article. It's an article that I wrote after some of the Hell Week data came out. And so we created this little chart of all the lifts. And I went back and talked to all the guys that went on to buds and finished and where their numbers were before they started. PST, body weight bench, weight vest pull-ups, 4-mile runs, all the buds type workouts, even deadlifts and squats, stuff like that. Just see where their strength and durability was and agility. And they came up with this chart. It was kind of like an average chart, but check out that article. In fact, there's a question here that brought that article up, and it is, I recently watched a video with Jeff Nichols on Hell Week data, success data. Yeah, Jeff Nichols and I did a tactical fitness report, and it is embedded into this article. So if you want to see that, it's pretty good. If we walk through the whole thing, would be awesome if you could review more research statistics. Also, have you considered tracking your trainees' numbers? I do track my trainees' numbers. Been tracking them forever. And I try to get them into all of those areas that I just listed in that link here. This link right here, physical assessment tools for to and through selection. So these are average lifts, times, and even some workouts you should be doing prior to shipping. And it's all there for free, folks. Just got to take some time, do a little research, and read it. Preparation and mental toughness go hand in hand. I would agree 100%. You become mentally tough by preparing, and you become prepared by adding a little mental toughness and discipline to your life. Very good concept. Let's see. For the winter periodization, the workouts look like a lot. Yeah, they are a lot. Are those meant to be split half and half? How long should the workouts take roughly? Yeah, good question. I mean, we still warm up with calisthenics. We lift heavy, do a little bit of a run afterwards. Sometimes it's a sprint, sometimes it's a short run. And then we swim after that. So normally we'll do all the land stuff in a workout, which takes, we're usually done in the winter by 7:30ish, start at 6, so hour and a half. But that's a lot of people in a workout trying to get through the workout. So you could probably get it done in hour and 15 minutes if you were moving. Um, but then we swim separately for an hour later in the day. So yeah, you're looking at like 2.5 hours worth of workouts. But here's the deal. If you're trying to go to Buds, you need it. If you're not trying to go to Buds or some other Spec Ops program that requires swimming, don't do the swimming. Or if you like swimming, do the swimming. Maybe skip the run. And now only you got an hour workout and then maybe an hour swim afterwards or 30-minute swim, whatever you can do. So these are like advanced winter lift cycles. And, I have a whole another section. We just did a different year, the seasonal tactical. This is a full four season program, winter, spring, summer, fall, where we actually, break down the year into 4 13-week cycles. And they're really designed for, spec ops level candidates, to be honest with you. They're long workouts. So if you're not that, you can still do the workout, but pick and choose what you need. You don't need to do everything in there. Oh, let's see. All right. Looks like I got all the questions answered. Well, for some reason, if I missed a question, just email me, stu@stewsmith.com. Go check out stewsmithfitness.com. Tons of articles over there. You can do the Google machine search for articles because I've written probably about 1,500 articles over the last 25 years. And there's information on those. Some of them are probably outdated, been up so long. So ask a question that maybe pertains to you specifically, but you can get started doing that. Also, lots of programs over there as well, like I've been showing all 45 minutes. All right, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. You guys come back tomorrow. I'll probably show some CSS videos and go from there. Take your questions. You guys have a good one. Go be the penguin.